is Santiago Island in the West Indies. It lies across half a mile of shallow sea from the eastern coast of Puerto Rico. The 40-acre island is composed of two main parts, connected by a narrow isthmus. The larger part is roughly 3 times the area of the smaller. Northeast trade winds sweep the hilltops, which rise about 100 feet above the sea. Cliffs and the shores below are of dark igneous rock. Other beaches are of cobblestone or sand. At this latitude, 18 degrees north, the vegetation is tropical. Extending outward from shallow leeward shores are dense thickets of mangrove. Their prop roots prevent washing of the mud button. On the central flat grow some 200 coconut trees with an understory of herbs and shrubs. The coconut trees were planted about 25 years ago. At times, fruits are abundant on shrubs and hanging vines. Covering many sandy flats are creeping vines, such as this beach pea and morning glory. Santiago Island has a limited variety of terrestrial animal life. Empty shells of marine snails house the tender bodies of hermit crabs. These, together with the large edible land crabs and smaller crabs, are important scavengers. Dying trees harbor termites, which build huge dark nests among the branches. One of the most conspicuous land vertebrates is a large teid lizard. Birds are few. Occasionally, a frigate bird soars overhead on long, narrow wings, or a brown pelican cruises the shoreline. Among shorebirds, the spotted sandpiper occurs most frequently and nearly always alone. Several species of warblers stop briefly during migration, but only the yellow mangrove warbler bathing here nests on the island. Santiago Island is notable as the home of over 400 free-living Rhesus monkeys. All of the present animals are descendants of stock brought directly from India in 1938. The monkeys reproduced well, but over the years many died and several hundred animals were removed for laboratory studies. Only about 150 remained in 1956, when the National Institutes of Health assumed control of the colony and began studies of social behavior and population ecology. Since then, the monkey population has increased at a net annual rate of 15%. Of the total, about 1/5 are infants born in the current year, 2/5 are immatures from 1 to 3 years old, and the remaining 2/5 are sexually mature, at least 4 years old. Rhesus monkeys reach full growth and a weight of about 25 pounds at 6 years of age. Like most other macaques, Rhesus monkeys normally travel on the ground. Yet they easily ascend coconut trunks and casually leap from branch to branch. They spend the night aloft, descending shortly before sunrise. Generally, the monkeys stay close to cover, but at low tide, some may venture out on the tidal flats and forage in the turtle grass, apparently seeking bits of algae or flotsam such as sugarcane. Monkeys can swim well, dog fashion, but normally the attraction of food and companions keeps the monkeys on the island. With practice, an observer quickly learns to recognize individuals by characteristics of face and build. To aid in identification, most animals are tattooed with letters or numbers. This male is tattooed on the chest. Many bear tattoos on the cheeks. Others wear a metal tag in the ear or have a V-shaped ear notch. In addition, the pelage of some is spotted with black dye. Natural cuts or scars mark others. Rhesus monkeys are vegetarians. This immature selects a long pod of the red mangrove. Another mouths the green fruit of casuarina. Here, an old female and her young companion share a fallen coconut flower. No coconuts fully develop on Santiago because the monkeys consume the flowers and green immature fruits. Monkeys commonly eat leaves, usually preferring the petiole, and suck the nectar from flowers, such as the beach pea. They also dig in the sand for roots and tidbits. The supply of natural foods, however, would soon be exhausted on this small island if other foods were not provided. Feeding stations, each consisting of a sheet metal hog feeder, regularly supplied with commercial food pellets, are located at intervals of about 200 yards. A confident sub-adult male easily raises the lid and sorts through the pellets, finally picking out one that suits him. Few others are so capricious. Not all monkeys learn to open the lids. This adult female had to wait for an immature to lift the lid before she could get food. Monkeys don't always swallow the pellets immediately. Here, an adolescent male greedily stuffs pellets into his cheek pouches and later pushes them between his teeth for chewing. After eating the dry pellets, monkeys usually seek water. There are no streams on the island, but the moderate rainfall, which amounts to over 60 inches per year, forms rain pools where monkeys drink. In addition, water is always available in metal hog founts located near feeding stations. Here, an old female and her yearling drink side by side. Monkeys also drink by licking dew from leaves. The island monkey population is organized into 6 bands, containing from 20 to over 150 members. Here, part of a large band moves through a mahogany grove, feeds and rests as a unit. Only the largest band, now partly visible on the beach, has an almost exclusive range. It normally stays on the smaller part of the island, but if food is exhausted, may cross the isthmus. During the last 6 years, this band has grown steadily, trebling in size. The other 5 bands, which roam the larger part of the island, formed over the same years by the subdivision of a single band. Each band is organized around a hierarchy of males. This animal, a large, healthy adult, is a leader. He strides assertively, tail up. All members of the band give way to him at food, water, and sitting place. Thus, he is the highest-ranking monkey, or male 1. The leader and 1 or 2 other high-ranking males, like this one who is second in rank, strongly influence band movements. They also protect the females and young. Lower in rank, but physically equal, are several mid-ranking males. They are also subordinate to some of the females. Mature females with infants and older young make up the bulk of the central part of the band. Daughters remain with their mothers to adulthood at 6 years of age and beyond. But most sons leave their mothers about puberty. These 3 to 5-year-old males frequent the periphery of the band. Peripheral males are lean, nervous, and furtive. Subordinate to nearly all adults, they lead harried lives and have lowest priority at food. Equally low in social rank, although fully adult and often in fine condition, are certain males that lead more or less solitary lives. This semi-solitary male remains in the vicinity of one particular band and occasionally associates with peripheral males. Various relationships combine to maintain cohesion among band members. The strongest ties are between a mother and her young. Although this old female has an infant, her 2-year-old son often stays at her side. This mother is accompanied by 3 of her young, born in successive years. Family ties are reinforced and other close social relations are established by grooming. Here, an old female grooms her daughter. Even after daughters mature, mothers still groom them. Grooming is often reciprocal. During the mating season, grooming is especially common between an adult male and a receptive or estrus female. In contrast to these attractive relations, many actions are antagonistic. Usually, antagonism is shown by threats rather than by pursuit or fighting. To threaten several animals at once, a monkey may shake a branch. A threatened monkey often grins widely. This action seems to prevent attack. In more casual meetings, one monkey may reveal its subordination and thus preclude attack by presenting its anal region toward a dominant one. Eliciting no apparent response, this monkey can feed with assurance. Sometimes a dominant animal reacts differently and mounts a subordinate one, thus confirming his social rank. On other occasions, mounting seems to function as a salutation when 2 animals meet. The dominant animal is viewed here by the presenting subordinate through his spread hind legs. The social order is further revealed when one gives up its sitting place to another. The interaction of social factors becomes complex when a band visits a feeding station. Here, early arrivals are an estrus female and her closely following consort, which is male 4 in the band. As she feeds, he stays close by protectively. Lower-ranking animals, like this old female and this young male, await an opportunity to feed. But the female, backed up by her consort, drives one of them away. Following her to the feeder, male 4 starts to eat. Now many females and young approach timidly and try to eat. Among these mid-ranking females, differences in rank are slight or subtle. A tense peripheral male, with ears flattened and tail high, draws near. But the big male intimidates him. More females and young crowd around male 4, which now feeds at the left side of the hopper. Watch him dash off as his superior, male 3, approaches from the right. Male 3 now dominates the feeder. Again, females and immatures crowd close. But then, male 2 approaches, and male 3, hurriedly snatching a handful of pellets, runs off a short distance. An estrus female cringes, and male 2 feigns a mounting. At first, she seems wary of him, but later joins him at the feeder. Then, while male 2 feeds at the right side of the hopper, male 4 dominates the left. Another high-ranking male sitting in the left foreground joins male 4 at the feeder. Peaceably, the 3 adult males feed together, but not for long, because the leader of the band, male 1, comes on the scene. At his appearance, the subordinate males give way. Now females and young crowd in to feed avidly under protection of their tolerant leader. From the undergrowth comes a warning call, and all flee. But the leader quickly recovers his composure. He returns to the feeder, thus reassuring his band. After the leader and most of the central group have fed and departed, the low-ranking members of the central group get their turn. Among these, differences in rank are obvious. Here, 2 sub-adults start to feed. But as a mature female nears, they withdraw. She stuffs her cheek pouches with pellets. Nervously looking about, she sees a more dominant animal approaching and leaves. Using every opportunity, the sub-adults return, only to depart again as a low-ranking adult arrives. He is watchful and eats slowly. Last of all come the peripheral males, some so apprehensive they grab a handful of pellets and run. Like individual monkeys, bands usually give way to one another in a definite order of priority. But sometimes there is conflict. Here a hungry band runs to a freshly stocked feeder. This group is the highest ranking on the island. Shortly, members of the next highest ranking band arrive. One of these, a mid-ranking male, cautiously approaches the feeder. But all retreat when threatened by the first band. Now the invader's male, too, advances. He stands his ground, even when the huge leader of the defenders strides past. But the atmosphere is tense, and a squabble breaks out in the first band. Their male 3 now threatens the invaders. Despite the threats, under protection of their leader, the invaders advance and start to feed. The invading leader attacks an alien male, then threatens all from atop the feeder. But he fails to hold his advantage, and his band retreats. Threateningly, defending male 3 watches them go. Similar complex episodes of social interactions within and between bands occur many times a day, every day of the year. The rainy season on Santiago Island starts in mid-spring, freshening the island with new plant growth. By early summer, most mature animals have changed somewhat in appearance and behavior. The naked skin of face, perineum, and hind legs of females starts to redden. These are external signs of the onset of estrus. Males change too. The face, perineum, and scrotum likewise redden. Sometimes a male follows an estrus female. Or he investigates one. Typically, early sexual advances are by females. At first, the male may be hostile, but by grooming him, the female wins acceptance. As part of courtship, the pair spends long periods sitting close together. Throughout courtship, the young of the previous year tags after its mother. This female's current consort, which has been her close companion for several days, grins at the baby and mounts the female. At this stage of excitement, any slight disturbance may cause the male to mount. Following the mounting, the pair relaxes as if unconcerned. During the later stages of estrus, the male follows the female and may groom her. Then, after an interval, the male mounts again. The series continues for 10 or more mountings, ending in insemination. Then the male may leave the female for a time, as if no longer interested. For many hours, the female may carry a white plug of semen in her vulva. Usually, the male later returns to the same female and consorts with her for a few days. From time to time, they groom or mate again. Except during the mating season, there is little grooming between the two sexes. Throughout the island, many other pairs consort as the females pass through estrus. The higher-ranking males are the most active breeders. Although some pairs consort for days, many other matings are promiscuous. The mating season continues through summer, declines after October. Winter and early spring comprise the dry season. Then many trees and shrubs shed their leaves. This is the season of births. Over 80% of the mature females bear young. This pregnant female is near term of 24 weeks. During labor, she stays with her band. A 6-day-old baby weighs about 1 pound. It is seldom released by its mother. A female's yearling is weaned when her new infant is born. The focal point of the infant's activities and its refuge and alarm is the mother's breast. During the first month of life, the infant takes little or no solid food and stays within a yard or two of its mother. The sexes are born in nearly equal numbers. However, among mature monkeys, females outnumber males more than 2 to 1 because males suffer a higher mortality. The Rhesus mother is solicitous for her infant, but on occasion she may cuff it in annoyance. This 3-month-old young roams farther from its mother and spends more time climbing and exploring. When the mother walks, she usually carries her infant clinging to her belly, head forward. Sometimes, though, the infant rides jockey style on its mother's back. This young is 5 weeks old. If the female lacks an infant, the yearling may nurse and ride until 16 months old and 6 pounds in weight. As the young grow up, they spend less time with their mothers and more time playing with one another. Much of their play occurs in trees and vines, where they are more adept than adults. Family ties greatly influence playmates. The young of the same mother most commonly play together or with the offspring of their grandmother. Nevertheless, many other play combinations occur too. Perhaps these play activities lead to the establishment of a social order among immatures. This order is partly determined by maternal influences, so that the young of high-ranking females usually attain high rank in the band. During rainy periods, depressions fill with water to a depth of about 1 foot. These rain pools are favorite sites where immatures play. Some splash aimlessly with their hands. Others half swim, their feet barely touching bottom. After splashing about, the youngsters may play and climb in the shrubs and vines. Some climb higher and higher. They finally reach the topmost branches, about 30 feet high. This acrobat surveys the foot-deep swimming hole and leaps. High diving is a game. Its object? Apparently in part to splash close to another monkey in the pool. Studies of the Rhesus monkeys of Santiago Island have provided deeper understanding of the social behavior and population ecology of primates. It is planned to encourage further growth of the free-ranging monkey population and to compare it with other populations in laboratories, on islands, and in the wild.